Everything was going swimmingly as Tycho, Dogmeat and I turned the tables on this Deathclaw when all of a sudden, with this shot that could not miss, I shot Dogmeat. Twice. Dogmeat, no! Hey everyone, I'm Nodvoru, and for the past week, the original Fallout has destroyed me. Remember in my last video when I said this? Unfortunately, this doesn't leave me much choice. As the OG Fallouts intimidate me intellectually, well, past me was right. I struggle and suck at old school RPGs, but what I didn't expect was to fall in love with this game. To be so addicted to it, I couldn't turn it off, and when I did turn it off, I couldn't stop thinking about it and was writing notes on my phone on what I had to do when I logged back in. So without further ado, sit back, relax, let's see if I could finish off the game. Welcome to Too Long Didn't Play. Fallout starts off with, holy shit, he just executed him, and they're laughing about it? Oh well, don't think of them as human beings, think of them as Americans. Our journey starts off as a dweller from Vault 13. Because we were adamant we wanted this playthrough to be as blind as possible, we don't select this big boy as a suggested character, and decide to create our own. We name him player name, and I found picking Gifted and Bloody Mess seemed to be the best way to go, and loaded up my luck as I wanted to maximise my critical hits. Back in 2015, I played Fallout 2 for about 10 minutes and struggled to get past the tutorial, but what I learned from that was you at least need one weapon skill tagged, so for combat I tagged small guns, doctor for healing, and speech to begin our journey. Most people know this by now, so the abridged version of old boxhead intro is the water chip in Vault 13 has failed and we're getting sent out to the waste to find one, and we have 150 days. Our journey starts with Slender Man walking towards the door, and away we go. I'd like to think this is common for a blind playthrough of Fallout 1, but the first 30 minutes of my playthrough was just clicking on random shit, trying to figure out what the hell was going on, and I opened up my inventory, menu, and skills over and over again. Look at this idiot, why are you trying to lockpick the vault door? After eventually figuring out how to move forward, we're greeted by dozens of angry rats, and despite all my rage, I'm still stuck with rats in a cave, and I was scared to use any ammo at this point, so I was slowly stabbing my way through them. Boop. Making it out the cave, we see the Overseer marked Vault 15 on our map, so we have a place to start our journey. But instead, I didn't know how the map worked, so I randomly clicked southbound and we travelled to the middle of nowhere. I did eventually get to Vault 15, where I became a professional rat killer. Once we entered the vault, I had a few challenges to overcome. My main problem was not knowing how the fuck to interact with anything, and the second was not being able to see a goddamn thing in this vault. After failing at literally everything, we do eventually see a broken elevator shaft, and Fallout throws me a bone of a hint that I need a rope to climb down it. Player name ain't no Spider-Man, and I'm no detective, so after I find some resources, I give up my hunt for the water chip in Vault 15 and leave. Because we approach Vault 15 from the weird southwest angle, we did discover another location to venture to, so we head there and are met by an angry band of raiders. We waltz in looking completely out of place and try bluff our toughness to the leader to join the raiders for some much needed protection. He calls our bluff immediately and says we can join if we kill these two female hostages he has right next to him. At the risk of not wanting to piss him off, we do as he says, but only after we eventually figure out how to switch to our gun. Once they're dead, we've appeased the tyrant, we're feeling pretty chuffed, so we help ourselves to some raider loot and get killed for stealing.
Not even the...
Reloading, we're adamant we have to live with our choices, so we kill the two girls, pick up mum, head to the Winchester, and wait for all this to blow over. And then get killed for trying to seduce a raider named Gwen. Third time's a charm though, when we're able to kill the girls, not steal anything, and not try to have sex with anyone, so we're free to level up and leave. I did try to return to Vault 15, but couldn't figure it out and didn't really know where to go, so I started travelling randomly around the world. My adventures took me to some crazy places, like this dinosaur foot, which netted me a stealth boy, and we came across some mole rats that I walked away very slowly from to avoid death. It was here I regretted making this a blind run, as I didn't know what to do, but eventually I came to the conclusion that if I did follow the Overseer's path, I may have come across something on the northern side of the map, so I headed there. On the way to clear the fog of war, I encountered this crashed UFO, and looting the aliens gave me an alien blaster and a nice portrait. If you look up to the top left of our screen now, I'll introduce you to the counter of this playthrough, as we do with all Too Long Didn't Play videos, and for this, we're calling it the Dumb Luck Counter. We're going to add a number every time I do something completely stupid where I found out in hindsight after finishing the game that actually helped me to get to the end. This one adds a number because the alien blaster is supposedly the best weapon in the game. Heading back to the journey, turns out I did miss something as we come across a town called Shady Sands. I also got given this cutscene of Vault 13 that I can only assume was trying to hurry me up, as I'd done absolutely nothing but waste time for about 50 days. In Shady Sands, we talked to the leader of the town, Seth, who asked us to help with a rad scorpion problem, which we agreed to. What the shit? I didn't mean right now. The combat became scary in this moment, and this one scorpion nearly killed me, but I was able to pull through. And I thought I killed him after that shot, but turns out scorpions can play possum too. It's a good time to mention you'll see me using VATS for a lot of this playthrough, as I didn't realise until much later that it actually used extra AP. With the cave cleared, I returned a hero to Shady Sands, and talking to locals we found out there may be a water chip at Vault 15, which reiterates that I really need a rope. Searching around Shady Sands, we come across a doctor who makes some antidotes for us with the scorpion tails we collected. Then we go speak to this guy named Aradesh, who's standing in a dark corner like a vampire. He tells us of a place called Junktown, which we note to go explore. Then we speak to another local named Tandy, who I'm only mentioning now as she gets kidnapped later. We also come across this Mad Max looking guy named Ian, who is a companion who joins us later, but we don't have 100 caps he tries to fleece us of right now, so we leave Shady Sands and head to Junktown. We're also told about a place called the Hub, no, not that one, but mark that down for ourselves as a later stop. Exploring around Junktown, I speak to numerous civilians and don't make much progress until I come across the general store where we speak with Town Sheriff Killian Darkwater. We trade with him a bit so we have enough caps to hire Ian. Once we're done, we go to head out when we get these weird messages on our Pip-Boy. Holy shit, he fucking killed him, man! Oh, no he didn't. I get that this guy's a hitman, but why did he think the best way to kill Killian was to walk into a store with 5 bodyguards and shoot once? I get this game's turn-based, but...
not a great plan.
Speaking with Killian after, he suspects the hitman was sent by a local casino owner named Gizmo and asks us to go secretly record a confession from him so he can bring him to justice. We accept his offer and head out, first making a stop at this place which I'm pretty sure is a brothel. Making our way to the back of the hotel, we come across a gang called the Skulls. The lady's skull on the door seems nice enough, but speaking to this bald one at the back, we didn't even say anything rude, but our mere presence elicits a good old-fashioned gang bashing. Reloading and getting the fuck out of there, we head uptown towards Gizmo's place, and instead of doing what we were sent to do, we get blinded by the sweet allure of gambling and blow all our money. The gambling system in Fallout reminded me a lot of my Sportsbet account, where at the click of the button, you can lose all your life savings.
Because you have a gambling problem!
Not content with how the house treated us, we go to speak with the casino owner Alfred Hitchcock. His hubris gets the better of him as he's so intent on taking down Killian, he doesn't take much convincing, but he lays out his confession for us. This is one of the few times when I've been playing games where a dialogue option actually made me laugh out loud while playing, and it really is a testament to good writing, which I was desperately in need of after just playing The Outer Worlds 2. Returning to Killian, we play him Gizmo's confession and get rewarded with leather armor. We get the offer to join the guards to take down the casino boss, and because Gizmo threatened to kill us if we double-crossed him, we think it's best to join them to make sure the job's done right. On the way back to the casino, it was also imperative we tried to pat this dog, and I assumed it was dog meat at the time, but didn't know how to recruit him as a companion, so we leave him be and rendezvous with the guards to take down Gizmo. Gizmo really does not give a shit, as he doesn't even bother to stand up during this fight, while he watches his guard bring his legs to a gunfight, so they're pretty easy to kill. We loot Gizmo's body, and this guy was just hoarding sweaty iguana on his stick bits in his pocket, so we take them off, and I decided to feed them to the dog that we saw before, and to my surprise it actually worked to recruit him as a companion. This began a friendship that if I knew it would end up like that one scene in I Am Legend, I may have let the dog stay here in peace. I'm no longer just a man, but a man with his dog. We upgrade our gear with Killian and head back into the Waste, where we elected to clear more fog of war on the map and find this rundown city. As we approach to go speak to these people standing around, Dogmeat turns into Cujo for a second and mauls one to death, tipping us off that the city is filled with ghouls. This ghoul city is called Necropolis, and stumbling across this is going to add another number to our dumb luck counter. I never figured out if there's a way to tell the difference between hostile and non-hostile ghouls other than just clicking on them, so I based on who I let live in this area by whether or not Dogmeat wanted them as a chew toy. I was about to leave Necropolis when I realised I could interact with a manhole on the road, so I climbed down into the sewers where we're met by a bunch of friendly ghouls. Talking to this group is why we added a dumb luck number to the counter, as he lets us know Necropolis has a watershed, and in that shed is a water chip. He asks us if we do go to the shed not to steal it without first repairing the pump, as that will kill everyone in town, so we agree to help out. He mentions somewhere in the sewers is some junk we can use to fix the pump, and if we bring it back to him he can help us further. And I'll be fucking damned if this sewer system isn't worse than Fallout 3's, as I got lost for about an hour down here, so I eventually surfaced and saw a suspicious man wearing a trench coat.
I can't tell you who I am, but I worked on the campaign.
Turns out the watershed's been taken over by super mutants, and when we talk to the specific one, he kindly offers to take us to his leader, the lieutenant. We agreed to do that, and expecting to get out of this with video game plot armor, we steal the lieutenant and find out he's working for someone named the Master who's turning Wastelanders into an army of mutants. Refusing to give up the location of our vault, the lieutenant lets his fist do the talking for a bit, then locks us up in a cell. Somehow with my low lockpick skill, I eventually break out of my cell and begin my stealth escape, where I'm immediately captured. Oh no! To avoid soft locking myself, I did have to reload back to the maze of sewers and explore them for a bit, letting Dogmeat do my bidding before we stumble across the ghoul's junk.
Say that again.
Returning the junk to his trunk,
Say that again.
he rewards us with books which are going to help our repair skill when the time comes. On the way back to the watershed, I came across this building where the guard tells me to go away, so I listened and returned to the mutants, trying to think of a way to sneak past them. Turns out you don't have to do that, and if you just tell this guy you're leaving, he decides he doesn't want to capture you anymore. Struggling to figure out what to do, we read our books for about 12 hours straight, turning day into night, and eventually use the junk to repair the water pump. I thought I was going to be handed a water chip at this point, but I wasn't, so I explored Necropolis a bit more and returned to that building where the guard didn't want me. With nothing else to do, I put on a brave face and decided to walk past him anyway, and he did nothing? Man, someone's got to fire that guy. This leads us to the leader of Necropolis, Set, who's a man of few words and asks us to take out the super mutants at the watershed. Agreeing to do it for some payback, we head there immediately and switch to the alien blaster, which does a shit ton more damage than the gun we were using, and 2 shots the guy in the trench coat. Hey, this is going to be pretty easy.
The darkness of the...
Long story short, we eventually killed them all, partly due to luck and partly because one of them turned into a coward halfway through the fight and tried legging it, allowing Dogmeat to chew his Achilles tendon and kill him. Exploring the watershed further, we get a laser rifle and see this prisoner. Although we do try to save them, we can't pick the lock.
Here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
So we explore the cell next door, which is open, and we come across a manhole. Watching this back was very annoying that I didn't go down, but I was adamant Set would give us a water chip, so we returned to speak with him, and he told us to fuck off until nighttime, which forced me to figure out I could pass time in the Wasteland. Because he's a night person, when we return and tell him the mutants are gone, he gives us our rewards by having us follow this slow as shit ghoul who gives us Coca-Cola bottles? What the fuck, man? Returning to the manhole in the cell, we head down it and take down 2 of the worst guards I've seen in a video game and find the entrance to a vault, which fortunately has a working elevator. Exploring the vault, we interact with everything, and I mean everything, until we find this computer, which gives us a water chip. Time to journey back to the vault to finish the game as we pass this seedy used car salesman and finally make it back. Speaking with old Boxhead, we return the chip and is thankful to us for saving the vault. But it's never enough with this guy, so he sends us back out to stop the super mutant threat.
Sorry, what? That wasn't part of the deal.
Being the good boy we agree, and with no idea where to go, we travel back to Shady Sands, as if we want to hunt down super mutants, we'll need a bodyguard to do so. On arrival, we learn Tandy has been kidnapped by the Raider gang from the start of our playthrough, so we recruit Ian and head off to save her. I'm feeling pretty tough as we approach the Raiders, with Dogmeat and Ian trailing behind, and luckily for us, because we have good reputation with the Raiders, we get the opportunity to buy Tandy back, which feels kind of wrong because they take the random alien portrait we got before and consider it a good deal. I really feel like they've undervalued human life there. After returning Tandy back home, we set out on our journey for the mutants again and come across this herd of cows before revisiting Junktown. We now have access to this bar which we couldn't get in before and instigate a bar fight as we try to take out the Skulls gang. Thank God I have Ian and Dogmeat as they carry the team and lead us to victory. Speaking to other bar patrons who aren't fazed by our murder, we come across this guy named Tycho who agrees to join our band of merry men. This was another dumb luck thing, as I don't think I ever would have found Tycho if I wasn't retreading old ground trying to figure out what to do. We continued putting more points into energy weapons to make our alien blaster more useful, and started moulding our build more for critical hits. Before leaving Junktown, we wanted to settle a score with some old friends, and Tycho turned this fight into a Three Stooges skit.
Spread out.
Heading back to the Wasteland, we have new locations we can head to, being the Brotherhood and the Boneyard, which I think we got from talking to Tycho, but I can't recall. First stop though is the hub, which we had unlocked earlier in the playthrough, and we learned that it's a trading outpost where you can join caravans to make a quick buck. But you know another way to make a quick buck? More gambling, of course. And after making a small amount of winnings, we explore a bit, find a shop where we eventually get access to some rope, and then find this guy named Erwin whose house has been overrun by raiders and he needs our help. We agree to take care of it, and it's here I remember that when you agree to do things in Fallout, they hold you to that shit right then and there as he teleports us to his house. No prep time given. It's all good though, as we've got our companions on our side, and talk about overconfident, fuck me. These raiders end all our lives very quickly.
Not even the carrion eaters.
So I have to try again and resort to my alien blaster. The fight's going swell until Ian bites the dust, so we avenge him and vow never to forget his sacrifice before leaving his corpse for the carrion eaters. Spoiler alert, by the time this video ends, we're not going to have any companions left. Returning to Irwin, he rewards us with a pistol, which I later learned was one of the best small guns in the game, so let's add another point to our counter. Exploring the hub a bit more, we speak with Jason Clark, who gives us a quest to find out why a bunch of caravans are going missing, and our first lead takes us to a local shop owner who suggests the water merchants may have something to do with it, or potentially a Deathclaw. That's sort of apples and oranges, but okay. She tells us of someone named Harold who can help us figure out what's going on, and I had no idea how to find Harold or the water merchants, so I went to the Crimson Caravan instead, as I remember them from New Vegas, and agreed to do a trade run for 600 caps each way. Trade runs are dangerous caravan guarding jobs you can take every so often, and I elected to do it, but let all the guards do the dirty work for me to save some ammo. The route I chose took me to the Boneyard and back, as we had to fight off 2 groups of raiders throughout the journey. Before returning to the hub, I did stop in the Boneyard and spoke with the regulators who run the town there, but the size of the Boneyard intimidated me and I didn't want to take any more quests on. Back in the hub, we explore a bit further and come across Harold, who's looking a bit worse for wear, but not as bad as my first exposure to him when I started my Fallout journey with Fallout 3 all those years ago.
Don't hurt me.
I also gave him a $25 donation for some reason because I thought it'd help with the quest, but it only buys us a terrible motivation speech about how dangerous a Deathclaw is and tells us to go speak to a guy outside who can take us to the lair. A Deathclaw fight calls for our alien blaster, so we switch to it and eventually take down the foul beast. We also find a super mutant who's on death's door and take a radio and a holodisc from him. I don't know if you can read holodiscs in Fallout, and I'm a bit brain dead, so when we return to Jason Clark, we tell him it was the mutants attacking the caravans and not the Deathclaw. I'm assuming that information was somewhere on the holodisc, and I guess it's not mind-blowing, but I'm glad my character figured it out, as I would have just told him it was a Deathclaw. Once again, I hit a roadblock, so I head back to the map and head to the Brotherhood, as surely they know something about the mutant threat. I also noticed a new location named the Glow had also popped up on my map. It's timely though, as arriving at the Brotherhood, Buzz Lightyear at the door tells us we can enter, but first we need to head to the Glow and bring something back to prove we went there. He asked us to do this in the most video game way possible.
I said you have to complete a quest first.
Heading to the Glow is a long journey that has many stops along the way, including this Doctor Who Easter egg.
Remember when I said this was going to be a blind run? Don't get mad, but this is the only part where I used the internet to learn I had to take some Rad-X before I went into the Glow because I kept dying without it. Sue me if you want, but it saved me punching a hole in the wall, so I'm happy. As a physical embodiment of me just said, I popped some Rad-X and struggled to figure out how to enter the giant crater for a bit before realizing you have to attach the rope to this metal bar rather than just jump down the hole as I was trying to do. This location scared the shit out of me and felt very eerie, so I wanted to get in and out as quickly as possible. We do see this dead soldier on the floor, so go to check on him. Idiot! Luckily we didn't die and we collect a yellow pass and holotape from his body and get the hell out of Dodge, immediately returning to the Brotherhood. Handing in the items allows us to join the Brotherhood as an initiate and enter the bunker where we speak to their quartermaster and unlock some fancy new armor and ammo. We get told by a guy named Talus that to get better gear we have to do another quest and find out what happened to one of their initiates who's gone AWOL in the hub. Exploring the Brotherhood base further, we come across Elder Maxon, who gives us a lead that is heard of threats in the northwest, and we agree to scout the area for him. He also gives us a sniper rifle to do so, which is nice. Before doing that, we want to find the missing initiate, so we return to the hub and run around like headless chooks for a bit until we find this building which contains some friendly, heavily armored men who try to kill us.
Your bones are...
And succeed. Second time's a charm as we win the rematch, gunning them all down, but then have to face our biggest challenge so far, which is lockpicking this door to free the initiate. As I'm reward hungry, I beeline straight back to Brotherhood after we freed him, where we inform Talus of our successes and he rewards us with a fancy suit of power armor. Say what you want about the Brotherhood, but they give you some good shit in this game. Suited up and still no real leads on the mutant threat, I decided to revisit the Boneyard and explore for a bit. Running around, I came across this den of Deathclaws and I thought, fuck that, so I teleported to the next area where we meet the Gunrunners, which I thought was pretty cool because my previous exposure to them consisted of that robot in New Vegas. Approaching this guard, who has the easiest job in the world, we gain access to their base and load up on ammo for our alien blaster so we can start using it without being stingy. While my screen was bugging out, we talk to the leader of the Gunrunners and take a quest from him, which is to take out the Deathclaws we just snuck past. I was hoping he wouldn't say that.
As much as we really want to do that, the main guard doesn't let us out, so we stand there awkwardly for a bit before cutting our losses and running across the sludge to escape, which Dogmeat doesn't like. Coward, a bald guy, and an injured dog walk into a pack of deathclaws, and you'll never guess what happened next.
He's already dead.
The darkness of the afterlife.
This was the fight that nearly made me stop playing. I died a few times on the street getting gang bashed by these deathclaws, so I changed my approach to try pick them off one by one. In this run through, everything was going swimmingly as Tycho, Dogmeat and I turned the tables on this deathclaw when all of a sudden, with this shot that could not miss, I shot Dogmeat. Twice. Dogmeat, no! I seriously deliberated reloading because I'm not into shooting my best friends to death, but Ian didn't get that luxury, so we pushed on. Dogmeat's death wasn't in vain though, as this was a fight when I finally realised that VAT shots use more AP than normal shots do, and I could have been shooting enemies twice before ending my turn. I really don't know how I made it this far. We finally took down the deathclaws and also looted this dead body of junk, which will add to our dumb luck counter, but more on that later. Heading to the basement of the Deathclaw den, we get set on by Mother Deathclaw. My aim was pretty shocking down here, and the fight went about as well as I expected.
Not even the key.
But we were finally able to take her and her unhatched babies down. Returning to the gunrunners, Dickhead at the door finally moves out of our way, and telling them the Deathclaws are dead makes them worship us as a god as they leave a bunch of weapons for us, including this plasma rifle, which I found way too difficult to put in my inventory. Selling back the loot they gave us, we're able to buy some ammo for the energy weapons as I go full hog into that build because the alien blaster was helping me destroy difficult enemies. Ready to face any challenge, we head back to the Boneyard and speak to Mayor Zimmerman, who offers us 2,000 caps to take out a local gang leader named Razor from the Blaze. He mentions they attacked their town but has no proof other than the word of the regulators. It seems pretty sus to me, but I'm no investigator and 2,000 caps sounds good, so we tell him we'll do it. Talking to other townsfolk, we speak to a guy named Miles who bugs my game out, and we force ourselves through the conversation where he asks us to get parts to fix the town's hydroponics farm. Our dumb luck kicks in as the parts we got from the Deathclaw den were the exact ones he needed. This quest is ridiculously overpowered because once we complete it, another local named Schmitty upgrades our plasma rifle, and after bringing Miles some books we have to go buy from the hub, he also upgrades our power armor. Dogmeat, that one's for you. We're decked out with new armor and a weapon, and admittedly the power did get to my head at this point in the playthrough, so we went and wiped out the entirety of the blades as we stand in their doorway and let them come to us, shooting Razor in the back as she flees. After collecting our payment from Zimmerman, we head out of the Boneyard and decide to explore a faint circle we've made out on our map. When I arrived here initially, I wrote this location off as filler, which in hindsight is pretty dumb, even for me. We speak to these churchgoers who basically tell us to get fucked, so our next plan of aimless attack is to head to the northwest of the map and scout it out like Elder Maxon asked us to. On the way, we find this crashed Nuka-Cola truck that has a stupid amount of caps in it, so we're adding another point to the dumb luck counter. However, we have too much carry weight, so we can't take it, so let's remove that point. The next 30 minutes of my game was random Wasteland encounters as I charted the entire north side of the map when I eventually stumbled across this location, which we journey to and find out is a super mutant military base. After taking out the guards at the front and not being able to enter through the locked door, I thought I was being smart by using the radio we got from that dying super mutant earlier on at the door, which netted me XP but still wouldn't grant me access. I eventually figured out I had to loot a key code off one of the guards and found my way into what I thought was the final location. Upon entry, we take out a few mutants. Sorry to interrupt the video, but to this day, I don't know what the fuck to do in this base and was just clicking random shit until I progressed forward. So if you do know, can you let me know in the comments please? We digged around for way too long when I finally figured out I could walk through these red force fields, which only took some of my health, and I decided to tank it. Tycho also tries, but instead of tanking the damage, he flays the skin from his entire body. Holy shit! Even though Tycho's spirit doesn't want to move on, I'm not fucking leaving! This is in fact where our last companion died, and the rest of our journey is done alone. Taking out these super mutants and not knowing how to progress, we remind ourselves of a group who would love to take part on this, so we return to Maxon and the Brotherhood in hopes he could offer some advice. He doesn't say much, and after speaking with the council, we do get offered 3 tough as guts paladins who are going to help us overtake the military base. Fuck yeah, now we're talking. We're back at the base and we're ready to tear shit up, but unfortunately they sent me these duds of paladins who were too scared of doors because they refused to enter. Back to square one of trying to figure out what to do, I just committed at this point to annihilating everything I could as I walked throughout the mutant military base. This eventually led me to a computer which deactivated a force field and back to the cell I was locked up in earlier. Talking to this guard, he kindly offers to take us to his leader, which we accept as it's the only way I could figure out how to progress forward. This feels like deja vu as we have the exact same conversation we had with the lieutenant hours earlier. The difference this time is we have new weapons and armor, so we're sure this fight will go our way.
The darkness of the
Third time's a charm when we finally take down the lieutenant, and he dies to this gross, moist sound. We're still after the master, so we keep exploring the base and find this area with vats of FEV, which is where humans are turned into mutants. The guys in this room must be made of balloons or something, as they explode when you click on them, and once again I get stuck in a room until I spam this computer enough times for it to let me use it. This is all gibberish to me, and I clicked a random option which set off a detonation timer. This is literally like when Homerunner Moo presses random buttons on his computer and nearly destroys the nuclear power plant. As to not die, we sprint out of the base and meet up with the 3 cowards and head to the waste where we get a cutscene of the lab being destroyed. It was here initially I thought I finished the game, but then I realised I hadn't encountered the master, and once I returned to the Brotherhood, they didn't do anything for me, so I realised there was at least one more location I had to visit, the Cathedral. We couldn't interact with anyone here, so I tried to disguise myself as one of them with some robes I'd picked up earlier, but that wasn't working either. Let this be a lesson to you if you do play Fallout 1, do not play it on a TV screen as you sit 6 meters away from the screen. Not only will it give you a headache, but it was so dark, I didn't see this blatantly obvious door for a while, which helped me get into the church. Speaking with some local monks, they tell me their leader's name is Morpheus, which is all I need to swap back to my power armor and kill them all. This fight took me forever, as I get swarmed by a bunch of monks attempting to bare fist my hulking suit of power armor to no avail, so once they were all dead, I was feeling pretty overpowered as I made my way up the cathedral to speak with Morpheus. Once we did make it to his room, I spoke with his nightkin, who I thought was Morpheus, when the real Morpheus woke up from his slumber and did one of the most badass things I saw all playthrough. Holy shit, man. Fuck messing with that guy and not wanting to go through all the monks again. I ran past them all and elected to try talk to Morpheus instead, who looks like a meth head. We convinced him to take us directly to the master by telling him we'll give him the location of Vault 13, which I think is a pretty cool way of finding the master, and we're teleported to our final boss. For a blob of a man, the master is fucking jacked, and he bent me over and destroyed me and his colleagues on numerous occasions. I don't know if it was a bug or not either, but nothing else in the room was firing at me except one mutant, the Master, and Morpheus, who was just trying to king hit me during the fight. So after numerous attempts and lucky critical hits, I was eventually able to take him down. The next challenge was escaping this place, because what I didn't realise until I looked at my Pip-Boy halfway through this battle was that a timer had started and the place was rigged to blow. After dying to them once, I found I could walk slowly past, which was quite comical, and began my escape. In one room and out the next. Oh, for fuck's sake, what now? Getting past these guards was a fucking nightmare as they destroyed me, but thanks to a well-placed save, I was able to try multiple ways of getting past them, including this ridiculous attempt. Finally, one way did work, and putting on the robe allowed me to speech check my way past the guards, so I made it to the home stretch. That's until the game wouldn't let me open this door, so I was stuck in the cave panicking, feeling like I was destined to go down with the master, watching the timer tick down. I did get the bright idea to blow a hole through the wall with dynamite to escape. Funnily enough, this isn't how you escape, and turns out I was clicking the wrong thing all along, and you can actually just open the door and let yourself out. Too late. Walking out, we've made it at literally the last second as we exit the door and... Reloading, we do it all again, this time with plenty of time to spare, as we make it to the Wasteland successfully, foiling the Master's plans without blowing ourselves up in the process. Our final slideshow plays with mixed results. The mutants fled to the east, Necropolis survived, Tandy and Aradesh created the NCR, Killian continued to rule Junktown, the Brotherhood helping the people of the Waste, and for some reason the hub was destroyed. I don't know how I stuffed that up, but let me know in the comments if you do. After all that, we head back to Vault 13, and we all know how the final chapter of this story goes, with the Overseer sending us back out into the waste as to not endanger the Vault. What I didn't know though, was our character has a mind of his own at the end and shoots him to death before returning to the Wasteland.
Thank you all so much for watching. I had an absolute blast playing this game and was so lucky to have found one of my new favourite games. If you did enjoy it, please leave a comment and let me know if you'd like to see me do a playthrough of Fallout 2. But until then, I've been Nodvoro, this has been Too Long Didn't Play, and you've been great.